How's you doing, YouTube? Listen, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Smurf and this video right here, because this is kind of interesting because I feel like I gotta speak on this because it seems like Smurf's doing a lot of flip-flopping, and I want to give my breakdown. And if you guys notice, there's 70 other people, right, attacking 50 Cent right now, right? Especially after he did the Diddy documentary, okay? I can name several incidences throughout Smurf's interviews where he's hinting at that he's getting paid by Diddy to say certain things, or Jay. I don't know which is which, right? But this is absolutely an orchestrated attack with 70 other people, from comedians, actors, sports analysts, rapper affiliates. They're all going at 50, right? And I'll break it down a little bit, but here we go. Here's Smurf, right? Let's hear what he's got to say.
Supposedly got robbed or some shit like that. Who? That's what they said on the internet. But like you at the summer jam or some shit, or you got robbed, or something happened, or altercation.
How I got robbed at summer jam if we threw chance at 50 and I was with like 100 of my goons?
Yeah, okay, yeah. I saw the footage. I remember I saw the footage.
Some of them down. How
So
I never got robbed in my life.
Okay, yeah.
They never took nothing from me. The only time it took something from me is when my whole block got robbed. And they ain't take nothing from me. I threw the shit on the floor.
Gotcha.
They never took nothing.
I saw that legendary footage too when y'all was throwing the chairs and all of that. Yeah.
I told you, these on the internet just be capping. Never took nothing from me. We shut Summer Jam down. We threw chairs at 50. 50 even caught a chair.
Yeah, I remember. I saw that.
Threw money at banks, threw money at me. We threw money back at the...
See what he said right here? He said, nobody ever took nothing from me. When they stuck up the whole block, I threw my chain on the ground. You know what I mean? Like, the way you could just tell the way he comes off, that he's the fraud. He's the liar. He's the one that's now falling back wherever. It's almost like he goes wherever the wind blows. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys that goes wherever the wind blows, right? You can't say something for 20 years, you know, bigging 50 Cent up, saying this, you know, yeah, he ran the block. He was pumping diesel and hard. He had 20 workers under him. Yeah, you know, he said in several interviews that if you was pumping hard in diesel, which is heroin, if you was pumping hard in diesel, 93, 94, 95, you was pumping for 50. 134 Guy Brewer, right? So this dude is just a clown, bro. Then he said 50's gun game wasn't crazy, almost alluding to like, yeah, he's seen him shoot people, but, you know, he misses on target. I mean, who would say his gun game isn't crazy if the dude never, you know, busted his gun? You know what I mean? And then he says he was a neighborhood bully, right? Remember that? He was knocking people out. He was, you know, everybody feared him. Now he's saying people that 50 picked and choose who he fought. He never really said it like that back in the day. I think he said it maybe one time other than that. See, whenever Smurf's in his feelings, that's when he, you know, he goes at 50 a little bit. But listen, this dude absolutely got paid by somebody to come out now. And it's almost like he sees other people going at 50, so he's going to jump on the bandwagon, right? I believe it has a lot to do with when Black Child called Smurf out and said, you know, what the hell, what's going on here? Like, you know, blah, 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 right? I really believe that. And when 50 said that Smurf doesn't know what he's talking about, 100% agree with them. I understand now why 50 let this dude go. He's not, he might be loyal in a sense, like he'll put in that work, but he's just a crash out, man. He has no brain cells. He doesn't think logically. He's more impulsive. He's emotional. You say something bad, he's going to attack. He's going to make up something to go at you, blah, blah, blah. He goes where the wind blows. That's basically his MO. I've noticed that with Smurf. He goes, I could show up 5, 6, 7, 8 different interviews where he's praising 50, this, that. So all those interviews he did praising 50, now he's falling back on these past interviews now because everybody else is going at 50. Come on, man. Nobody's going to respect that. Nobody's going to take you serious anymore. Anybody that takes this dude serious ain't got a brain cell.
Like, We shut some of them down. So how I get robbed is Summer Jam? But y'all talking.
Gotcha.
On the internet be crazy. They always got a
Gotcha.
story, you heard?
We're making up all types of stuff.
Nah, this internet is crazy, bro. Like, and plus
It's
people got
undefeated.
got mental issues too, you heard? So I don't even pay attention to half this shit I be seeing online, bro.
You know, you also one thing about 50 right now always comes up is like the paperwork of him snitching and things like that. And you know, I see the recent thing that T.I. son put up about him, where basically you know, the cops came at him and
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I'm glad you touched this subject too, because something I wanted to clear. Because people be like, oh, you just said 50 not snitching, so now you call him in a snitch. See, like,
Right. I saw that exactly.
I just want to break that down, right?
Please.
When I say 50 didn't snitch, I'm talking about the black child incident. He didn't tell in the black child stabbing incident when they ran up in the hit factory.
The protective order and shit.
Right. That's why I said he didn't snitch in that situation. Yayo was going to snitch. Yayo was going to tell. I talked Yayo out of not telling. Like, yo, bro, you can't.
Wow.
This is facts. If you tell you got to press charges, all kind of shit, you're not going to do that. So I talked him out of that. Let him know you can't do that. Right? So Yayo was going to tell, but he didn't tell. I talked him out of that. 50 ain't tell, Yayo ain't tell. Yeah.
See, I will admit one thing. He did say this story before, but he didn't say 50 was, Yayo was going to press charges. He said Yayo was going to sue. Okay? See, this guy is emotional now. He's not even making sense. He's not being rational in what he's saying, or maybe he's just not thinking of what's coming out of his mouth right now. Because he said over several occasions that Yayo never was going to press charges, but he was going to sue. All right? And he said that, you know, it was the studio engineer that got stabbed up. He's the one that pressed charges and sued, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I just want to clear this up. He had it, Yayo was going to sue, so he is consistent about Yayo going that route, but he never once said that Yayo was going to press charges. He said Yayo was going to sue in a civil matter. And he talked him out of it.
Moving down the line, he be doing, why I call him an agent, because he be doing a lot of police shit.
Now pay attention to this.
Police shit. That's why I call him an agent. You hiring private investigator to get criminal activities on any man, use a rat.
Now this is what I'm talking about. All right. I think this was 241 of the video. This is absolutely a Diddy talking point, right? He's basically saying that because listen, he never said any of this shit until the Diddy documentary came out. Now he's got it like he's an agent. He's hiring private investigators because of the Diddy documentary. Listen, most of the Diddy documentary, Smurf, again, doesn't know what he's talking about. Most of the Diddy documentary was Diddy's own films. It was his own films that he videotaped himself. All right? Please don't come up, Pev. So it was his own films that he did himself, right? It was his own films that he did himself. All right? Let me see. It wasn't like he'd go and hire a private investigator, find out extra shit. No, he had other people come in, give their point of view, right? And then he had Diddy's own camera people use that footage that they themselves recorded, and he put that same footage out. It wasn't like he hired some private investigator. Now, when it comes to like maybe lawsuits or finding out, or finding out this and that, yeah, maybe he did cover his own, his own ass in certain instances that he's alluding to, but he wasn't like, working with the government and this type of shit. Smurf is being a fucking clown right now, bro.
That's federal shit. And
federal shit. This guy's crazy. Now he's saying it's federal shit to hire a private investigator. Come on, man. You guys are smarter than this.
On Tiger podcast, I told you I witnessed this speaking to the feds.
You never once said this before.
Pull up on us, have them follow him to the fucking their head office. He got out the car. He go.
Now, if you guys got any street smarts or brain cells in you at all, right? 50 knows that Smurf is a blabbermouth, right? He knows he'll be telling this to the fucking world, that he's going to tell everybody, right? Now, if you guys have a 1% street smarts in that little tiny brain of yours, Do you really think he'd pull up to the FBI headquarters with Smurf in the car witnessing this and then know that Smurf's going to have it going around everywhere if he let Smurf go? Come on, guys. Come on, man. You guys are smarter than this. This is elementary shit. Do you really think he would let Smurf, right, see him talk to the FBI, right, and then all of a sudden go back in the car and let Smurf go around and tell everybody about it? Come on, guys. You guys are smarter than this. This shit's starting to, like, there's only so much shit you can hear and listen to.
I'm in the car waiting. I witnessed this with the Fed. That was the night Jam Master Jay died. That's how we found out he died. My mom.
And what he say to you when he came back in the car?
He ain't say nothing. He was like, yeah, man, you know, they on Jam Master shit. They saying I'm on a hit list. Because that was the thing back then. Like, it came on the hit list. So that's what he said. I ain't care about that shit, man. I know we hot it.
Now, if the Fed, this is true, if what Smurf is saying, they would go to 50, right? If he was on the hit list. Now, use your head a little bit, please. I mean, unless they called him, which they, whatever. Listen, they would go to 50. It wouldn't be like 50 searching them out. They would go to 50 and ask questions because they're investigating, right? So that's when they would say, all right, you're on the hit list, blah, blah, blah. They got to notify you. That is, it say like if Smurf's on a hit list, right? Let's just say it like this. Smurf's on a hit list. There was a shooting and they found out Smurf's on a hit list. Somebody just got murdered. They have to tell Smurf that his life is in jeopardy. You know what I mean? If he's on the hit list. So this guy doesn't know. He's living in a fantasy, bro, right now. Honestly, man, I'm starting to feel bad for Smurf because he's not coherent. He doesn't make any sense. He's talking about other people being crazy online. I feel bad for him, bro.
So that's why I said I don't doubt it. Like the Feds, you going to war with the most notorious in New York. They violating you. They killing your man.
Now, if anybody knows about Jimmy Henchman, right? He was almost basically playing private investigators to follow 50. He was getting license plates. He was having his own people follow 50, follow Yayo. Read the court case, right? He was having people follow Yayo's sister, Yayo's brother. They were following, getting different license plates, see what time they left. They were stalking them, literally stalking them. That's how much revenge Jimmy Henchman wanted on 50 and his crew. All right. So when they talk about rats and this and that, it was Jimmy Henchman that was the rat. It was Jimmy Henchman that had the private investigation. It was Jimmy Henchman that went to the police when Yayo slapped his son. Okay? Literally, Jimmy Henchman went to the police, right? So he was playing both sides. He was saying that, Because don't forget, when you're a rat and you're an informant, you have to keep contact with the police and let them know what's going on. In case something happens within your vicinity, you notify them and be like, all right, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. So he told the police that Yayo slapped his son, right? I believe, I'm not 100%, do your research, but I believe Yayo and that other guy got arrested. Yeah. So, I mean, this is all documented. You can read it yourself, blah, blah, blah.
Your man crib, monster crib, they torturing his mom's crib, they shooting up Yayo crib. You telling me the Feds ain't never come check none of y'all to find out what's going on? Y'all know how the Feds work. So
yeah, they did check him. Obviously, dude, this guy does not know what he's talking about right now. But he ain't gonna talk about how Yayo got arrested for slapping Jimmy Henchman's son. Is he gonna talk about this? Let's find out.
That's why I said I believe the Feds did come to Connecticut and ask him some questions. Hell yeah, I believe that. How you in war boys and war with all these different gangsters and the Feds never came?
That sounds good though, right? It sounds good, right? But here, check me out. Anybody knows that anything about the Feds, right? Right? Now, guys, I know my audience got some street smarts in them. I know that for a fact, right? Or else they wouldn't be listening right now, right? Because they're kind of curious what I got to say, blah, 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 right? From my perspective, right? No Fed document, 302, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? especially after the accusations about people calling 50 a snitch during the Hit Factory stabbing, do you think in your right mind, in your 1% brain cell, right, that 50 would ever not go, if he was going to be, if he, put it like this, if 50 was a snitch, you would never know about it. You would never know about it. Because especially after the Hit Factory stabbing, do you think 50's name would ever be in a 302 or a federal document, FBI document about him telling the police about Jimmy Henchman threatening to kill him and then talking about the Supreme Team trying to kill him before this? Do you really think 50 Cent wouldn't sit down with his lawyer to make sure his name wasn't in that? Come on, guys. And how come they only showed 1 out of the 7 documents? Listen, guys, this is elementary. 50 Cent would be way smarter than that. If he ever did snitch, I don't believe he ever snitched a day in his life. But listen, if he did snitch, he wouldn't be dumb enough to he would sit down with the lawyer, right? If right, put it like that. If 50 did snitch, he would first call his lawyer, right? And he would say, let's set up a meeting with the FBI, da-da-da-da-da, blah, 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 right? And if the feds did come to 50's house, which, whatever, he would 100% call his lawyer up, right? And he would make sure his name wasn't in that document. You know why? It's because 50 learned his lesson already from the Hit Factory stabbing and the fake paperwork that already came out. So he was on guard already. He had a reputation uphold, right? So do you think in your right mind, right, that 50 would ever let his name in a document accusing anybody, right, of doing this, of doing that, knowing that it's going to be out to the masses because this is post-internet, right? So he knows this is going to be everywhere, right? Listen, bro, if 50 ever did snitch, he'd be a confidential informant. You would never know, right? It wouldn't be Curtis Jackson said this, Curtis Jackson said that. Especially after the Hit Factory fake paperwork. You really think 50 Cent's going to have his name in a document? Come on, guys. You guys are smarter than this, man. You guys are smarter than this, guys. If he ever was a rat, which he wasn't. I know this for a fact. 50 never snitched. Yeah, they might have. Of course they came to him. You know when the feds came to 50? After the shooting, right? They came to him. They were like, blah, blah, blah. You want to know what I think 50 said? And this is, what I believe in my heart. The only thing that 50 said, from my perspective now, I believe the feds did come to him after the shooting, right? And I believe he said, you want to know anything, just listen to my song. That's what I believe he said. Anything else after that? Hell no. You know why? It's because he had people around him. He had an image to uphold. He came from a neighborhood where he's pumping diesel hard, letting his toast go, banging out, fucking, breaking people's jaws, selling diesel and hard, running a block. You can't go from that and then freaking disobey your principle. I think 50 honors his reputation more than anything first. All right? So when Smurf says this just doesn't even make sense. Trust me, if 50 ever snitched, you would never read his name in a document or paperwork. It would be confidential informant. Come on, guys. You guys are smarter than this. You really think 50 would talk to the police coming at his house and everybody can hear this and that? Come on, man. You guys are just crazy right now.
Talk to the feds or the police, but they
But
won't come.
they're gonna at least show up.
Yes, they're going to come. So
They're gonna follow the story.
You're telling me all this war you're going through? Nobody. That's why I said ain't nobody from G Unit get indicted. Nobody feds never came. Y'all gotta be police. Got it. You gotta be agents. And I believe he an agent because he got them on their payroll. So why would I get rid of this and he paying us good?
Now listen, the reason why, you guys want to know the real truth, why 50 never got indicted, from my perspective, listen, of course he did, he had legal security after his first album, because he had all street dudes around him the first album, right? Because security is expensive, right? Detail, blah, blah, blah. Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre, they hired his security team, right? In the beginning, right? So when you have legal security, if somebody bangs at you, shoots at you, That's almost a legal pass so you can fight back, right? You don't have to worry about people going to jail. You don't have to, because you're doing everything above law at that time, right? You're keeping your commodity in check. 50 cents a commodity, right? This dude's talking like 50 ain't got no money. He's on the block, still selling diesel and hard. This is with the way he's talking. The guy, he's living in freaking Mike Tyson's mansion, and this dude's talking like he's still on Guy Brew 134. Come on, guys. Like, this shit, this clown doesn't even make sense right now, bro. Of course he would have legal detail, legal firearms around him. So, wait. So Smurf wants him to have all street people around him, right? Going at all these big gangsters, right? Right? Because, I mean, he wants him to do that, right? What, so he could get a charge, so he could get a RICO? 50's a chess player, man. He ain't going to put himself in a position where he's going to get a RICO charge. Just like when he goes on a song and he said, you know, he's with some, you know, people that are color banging. He basically says, I'm not gang. I do not gang bang. Don't play me like I'm pussy. I'll pull up and bang bang. Listen, he's already 10 moves ahead of the feds, bro. And Yayo already had the feds knocking at his door, bro. 50, bro, there's people that have been questioned by the feds, bro. Like, what is this dude talking about, bro? What is this dude talking about? Eminem said it best. I got undercover that will legally pop you. You know what I mean? Like, dude, if you're not moving like that, bro, if you ain't have a legal gun on or around you, right? And obviously he still had the street people with him. So, put it like this. If 50 didn't have any legal firearms around him when he's going at these gangsters, right? They would seize all his assets, right? If something happened, and he'd be dead broke back on Guy Brewer with Smurf, and they'd be selling diesel and hard, bro. You know what I mean? This dude doesn't even make sense when he talks, bro. He doesn't make sense. You think 50 didn't have a preem holding his nutsack, right? While he could still rap and make millions of dollars, and have Preem holding his nutsack, getting other hitters to go out and do his dirty work. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and if Smurf's putting in all this work, here's this thing, right? This is something that I gotta talk about because this is just killing me, right? Who's the person that's putting in all the work for G Unit? Who's the guy that claims that he's putting in, he's dropping all these body, he getting in there, he's banging out, he's busting his gun, he's protecting 50, right? Out of anybody in G Unit, who do you say is the one busting his gun the most, right? He's 50's protection, right? He's the one holding 50 down, right? He's the one that everybody's afraid of, right? He's the one that's got 50's back. He's busting his gun. He's keeping, you know, he's 50's shooter. He brags about it all the time. So the feds didn't come to. So if any fed's gonna come, it's gonna be the feds to Smurf. If anybody is gonna get the feds coming and knocking on their door, it's gonna be the feds coming to Smurf's door out of his own mouth, right? That's why 50 dropped him, bro. He knew the shit was getting to where the feds will talk to Smurf and get him in trouble, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, if anybody's going to get indicted or have the feds come knocking at their door, who do you think's door is going to get knocked on first? Smurf, the guy that's bragging about busting his gun, protecting 50, you know, busting his gun, you know, holding 50 down, protecting him, his shooter, blah, blah, blah. So it's either you was his main security, you was his shooter, or he still had undercovers protecting 50. You know what I mean? You can't have it both ways. What is Smurf talking about? Smurf says that he's the one that held 50 down. He's the one busting his gun. But then he says undercover cops was holding 50 down. So which is it, Smurf? You can't have it both ways. You can't have it 1 second. You're holding him down. You're the shooter. So listen, again, I'm going to say this for the last time. People that got any ounce of street smarts. Smurf is online saying, I'm the shooter. I'm the one putting in the work. I'm the one busting my gun. So if anybody's going to get the feds knocking at their door during that beef, right? Or prior to it during the preem beef, right? Especially during the preem beef, because I don't think he was around as much with the henchman's beef, right? Because that was after when Game was signed. But I still think he was like on the beginning of that beef. because I think it was 2004. So if anybody's getting the feds knocking at their door, it's going to be Smurf. So what the fuck is he talking about? He's the one saying he's busting the gun. So let me ask you, for the street people out there, who do you think's door is going to get knocked on first? The guy who's a real gangster, but doesn't talk or brag about what he does, says, I am not gang, I do not gang bang. Or the one that's saying, I bust my gun, I hold 50 down, blah, blah, blah. You know, the one that talks about what he does. Whose door do you think's going to get knocked on first? Smurfs or 50? And don't give me that bullshit, oh, they're going to go to 50 because blah, 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 he's the main guy, blah, blah, blah. Don't give me none of that bullshit either, right?